Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm glad to have you here listening and watching. We've got a very exciting episode in front of us, but before we get into that, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow us there. Now, the King of Rock is back in Australia for a second time. About, 6 months? 6 months ago, he was here for his first Oz tour, for his first ever tour. Now he's back in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ben Prophet. How you going?
Hi guys. How you
Welcome
doing?
back to Australia.
Thank you, man. Thank
Welcome
you.
back to Sydney as well. You've
So
been
nice
here
to
for
be
a bit
back.
now. Yeah.
So nice to be back.
How's it like coming back?
Wicked, man. Wicked. It's pretty surreal. I mean, like the first tour was unreal, as you can imagine. But once we got the second one locked in, it's just been mental. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, it's just mad, man. I just love this country so much, bro. The weather, the people, the food. Can't get enough. Can't get enough, man. It's unreal.
Did you book the second tour straight after the first one, or did you already have the second tour booked beforehand?
The second tour kind of came about randomly. So Gary Gez, who you had in the podcast before, was in the room with us.
Shout out.
Shout out Gez. So he came to me and was like, oh listen, I want to put together a little tour for December and this and the other. So I was like, yeah, sounds like a plan, let's do that. And yeah, it just kind of fell into place where we were doing back-to-backs and things like that prior. So yeah, worked out really well.
Yeah,
really,
that's
really
right.
well.
Yeah, you're doing a back-to-back tour sort of.
Yeah, it's mad. It's so much fun, man. I couldn't pick a better person to go back-to-back with, though. I mean, it's such a nice blend. I mean, this boy is just like a hard groove genius. Do you know what I mean? So I think my weird mechanical style with his stuff is just like, it just works super well. I think it's been going down well in Australia as well, which is class.
Yeah, it's awesome. You guys have been friends for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, too long. Too long if you ask me. My God, it's been a good few years, 4 years, yeah, I think, yeah. I was a fan over lockdown of him, and then we just ended up becoming friends over Instagram, and then it's just kind of grew from there. We did a back-to-back then in Durham, which was like our first time meeting, and that was so much fun. Durham's a weird crowd, though. Durham's like, it's like a mixture of people that love techno and love weird underground stuff, but then you've got like the more commercial side to it, so you've got to kind of cater to both, and it's really good fun though. We had a great time.
Where's that? Is that in Ireland or is that in England?
So it's in the UK.
In the UK?
So it's northeast of the UK, just below Newcastle.
Yeah, where you're from. Not from, but where you're
I'm
currently
living,
currently are.
Yeah.
We'll get into that because you're Irish, but you also sort of resonate with the Newcastle crowd, like the Newcastle crowd as well. What was that decision like? Like, why did you choose to sort of move to Newcastle?
So when I moved to London when I was 17 years old, and probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. Like, it was just, I loved Ireland so much, but for like up and coming musicians such as myself and Gary and things like that, doors aren't really open like naturally. You really have to go searching and try and find, your niche. So when I moved over to London, that was the main goal, to try and focus on music and, focus on myself and my career. So I stayed in London for 6.5 years, I think it was. And then I moved up to Newcastle then, just because I wanted to change, and London's so hustle and bustle. Have you been to London?
No, I'm actually going this year. I will be there in June.
So it's a great city. It's brilliant to visit, but I think living there, like, it's extremely saturated with like either just businessmen that are going from point A to point B, and they don't even look at you. And I'm used to smiling at people when you walk down the street and stuff, and you don't get that in London whatsoever. People think you're mental. But then Newcastle is a bit more like Ireland.
Oh, right, okay.
Thanks, sir.
Sydney's like that as well, very much business focused. That's like, I've been here my whole life. I sort of get that. So I feel like London, I probably might be used to it just because I'm used to that business sort of corporate lifestyle. So we'll see. But no, Newcastle. Was there a specific reason why Newcastle out of all the cities in the UK?
So I've got a great bunch of friends up there.
Okay,
fantastic bunch of friends. Shout out Chris and Brett. They were the kind of first heads that I knew when I was moving up there. And I think like I was just looking for somewhere where it was going to be nice and quiet, nice and chill. I mean, once the students leave Newcastle, it starts to calm down. It's so quiet, you wouldn't believe it. But yeah, that's kind of the main reason we moved up there. Just more and change. Yeah, change is probably the best way to put it.
How's the music scene up there then?
Wicked.
Really?
Really, really good. Yeah, it's pretty oversaturated with nights now, but I mean, it's not hard to stand out. Just do a good job and you're nice. And I mean, a few heads that represent the scene up there. You've got Apex, you've got Us District, you've got GDT, Groovy Discotheque, and they're all just fantastic nights. Do you know what I mean? It's all GDT, for example, is a Tuesday night, so every single Tuesday.
Oh wow!
It sells out every single week, bro. It's mad. It's mental. It's just all students. But yeah, it's great. It's really,
Is there
really
a
good.
big uni culture up there? Like, not uni culture, but is there like a lot of uni students up there?
Huge amount.
Yeah.
I believe it's 3 universities in the northeast.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So you've got Northumbria, Newcastle. I think there's another one. Could be wrong there, but it's heavily driven by universities. If
Yeah,
unis
right.
weren't there, I don't know if it would still be thriving as it is now. But
Yeah, well, that's where uni crowds sort of are the ones that run everything, aren't they?
it's quite similar here. Is it Canberra? Is it Canberra that has the university? That's
Yeah.
mainly.
Canberra only has one uni, but it's the main one, like Australian National University. But I know that down in Canberra, like anyone that's listening, Canberra isn't exactly the funnest place to live, but it's got a massive like uni culture.
Okay.
A lot of like, I've had family friends that went down to Canberra, and I have a lot of people that I work with now that go to uni or went to uni in Canberra, and it was just like they had like their own little fraternities, like whatever they call them, sororities, and they had like just parties. Yeah, so that's Canberra's sort of like that. But I'm speaking from what I've been told, so I can't tell you. But yeah, no, uni culture is massive here in Sydney as well. You've got the 3 main Sydney unis they just go out all the time. They have all their like clubs and stuff, just organise events just to go out. But not on like Tuesday nights. Thursday nights are a uni night here.
Oh really? Is that your student night here?
Yeah.
Would you have like discounts on like tickets and shit like that, or
I don't know.
drinks and stuff?
I've graduated uni 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was in uni during COVID, so I had legit didn't party at all pretty much during uni.
Did you have predicted grades during COVID? You know, so like in the UK, what we had was if you say, for example, everything was online, during uni, and what they did was they obviously did their exams and everything like that, but the grades were predicted, man. So all the unis were like getting these high pass rates for the year because they were just passing everyone, no matter if you were doing shit or good, or it doesn't matter.
Wow. I think some unis and stuff literally just went pass or fail. They didn't actually have a grade, like
really?
80%, 90%. They just had pass or fail.
Okay.
And everyone was just passing.
Everyone's passing.
It's like those memes you see of like engineers in like 30 years.
Exactly.
All the COVID engineers. Yeah. So Newcastle's how long have you been there now for?
Been there nearly 3 years.
3 years.
Nearly 3 years, yeah.
Would you ever consider moving back down to London or back to Ireland, or is Newcastle sort of your home for the time being?
Newcastle's home for the time being, but me and Gary are planning on moving to Manchester. Possibly next year or maybe the year after. We'll see the buzz. But yeah, that's next on the agenda. I think I absolutely love Manchester, man. Have you been?
No, never.
No, mate. It's a party city. Like, it's good.
Really?
It's good. Yeah. And
Well,
food
yeah.
is good. Yeah.
I'd love to go Manchester. It's like a 2-hour train ride from London, or a bit longer.
It's
than
about
that.
2.5. Yeah.
2.5. Yeah,
about
it's a
that,
bit
yeah.
long. But if I have time,
Yeah.
go visit Old Trafford.
Yeah, dude. Don't go Man City. Yeah, don't go Man City. None of that, man.
Not Man City, man. No way. I got spit on the floors of the Etihad.
No, that's it. Manchester's wicked. Warehouse Project as well. You got Warehouse Project on your doorstep.
Leeds is that Leeds?
No, that's Warehouse Leeds. So that's
But is
another
Leeds
one.
next to Manchester? Is it around Manchester?
No, so Manny, think of Manny over here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then Leeds would be more in the middle here.
Right. Okay.
So you're thinking of Warehouse in Leeds, which is still a very cool venue, but the biggest one now would be Warehouse Project in Manchester, which is 13,000 people, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's ginormous.
Yeah, I've seen videos and stuff from it, but I didn't know it was that big. I thought it was
Oh,
like.
jeez, it's mental, man. It's crazy. Trying to find your friends in there. You need doof sticks, man. That's what we need over there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of doof sticks, you went to Pitch.
Mm-hmm.
How obviously Pitch 2024. If anyone's listening, I'm sure there's people that definitely know what's going on. You went to Pitch 2024, which was last week as of recording this episode. How was that experience? It was your first pitch, first of all, but it was also probably the most chaotic pitch to date. So how was that?
I thought the festival was fantastic. The festival itself was brilliant. They can't hack the heat, you know, like fucking, there was no shade and stuff like that, but it was just the heat, man. The heat was killing me off. Like the second day we had a bit too much of a party, I think, earlier on, and then I got heat stroke, which wasn't great. I remember I was laying there and I could there was like, you know, those squirty bottles of water, right? So I had one of them in one hand and I had an electric fan in the other. And I was just laying there doing this I was like, fuck me, I can't feel my fingers. Right?
Oh shit.
And then I started to like do that, gone, like no feeling my fingers.
Wow.
My feet were starting to like feel numb, and then the lads were like, Ben, you need to get in the shower, just like chill out in some cool water. So I was like, right, I'll stand up. I stand up, and my God, did I nearly deck it. Like, I couldn't stand up, man. It was just so hot there. It was fucking hell. I think it peaked at like 42 degrees. I think I checked.
Yeah, that's
It was
insane.
I mean, it's the hottest I've ever been in my life. thank God for the mist cannons. I don't know if you heard about them, but they had these like massive cannons of just like pure mist that was just going across people, and it was perfect. That saved my life the
really?
third and fourth day. Yeah, it was wicked. But I feel sorry for everyone, you know. I feel sorry for the people involved. I feel sorry for you know, the promoters, Untitled and everything. Like, it's hard because as for them, I know that they wanted to put on a show for everyone. I know it was heartbreaking that they had to cancel, and it's one of those things that's out of their control. And I think people are being extremely hard on them online for the reason of like not shutting down early. But you gotta think it's a business, yeah. So if it's a business, it needs to stay open this long to get the shutdown and everything like that. It's important. Yeah. And I really want to stress that. Please just relax, calm down, leave pitch alone, man, because it's like,
over already anyway.
It's really not their fault. It's really not their fault.
Yeah, I think as someone who was observing it from the outside, because I didn't go, I think the main thing that people were concerned about was the fact that they were thinking that you guys in the festival weren't getting all the communications, because we obviously on the outside, we had internet, data, we were able to see all the Instagram posts as they went up, but I think people were concerned that you guys in the festival, everyone that was in there, couldn't actually get the updates or wasn't getting them in real time, and they were getting them really late because there was a bunch of comments on Instagram saying, oh, I've had friends in here and they have no idea that the festival's shutting down. I have friends in there and they have no idea that we're shutting down the music and stuff like that. So was there a lot of communication in the festival? Were you like aware of everything that was going on?
Well, we couldn't really get we couldn't get messages. There was no reception, which is fair enough. We understood that going into this. But there was notice boards put up around the place, and obviously, I actually didn't know about the notice boards until maybe day 2 or 3. But you weren't, unless you were actively walking to these notice boards, you wouldn't hear about it until it was like word of mouth. You know, everyone was talking about it. So I remember on the last day, I had gone to get water for everyone, and you guys were at the X Club Secret set, and you're having a great time. And I was like, oh, listen, it's a bit too hot for me. I'm going to get water, go back and chill out. And I'm walking by, and this guy recognizes and asks us for a picture, but he was like, oh, you know, it's cancelled in like 20 minutes. And I was like, what?
Oh, wow. So you didn't know it was cancelled?
I didn't know it was cancelled, right? Because obviously I didn't pass the notice board. He was like, yeah, the festival's completely cancelled. I was like, fuck. I better go tell everyone. You know what I mean? So I went back.
My God.
Obviously word of mouth had spread then, but yeah, it was just so hot, man. You know, it was just too hot. And obviously, God bless that boy that passed away when he was there. These things are just like completely out of the festival's control. But yeah, these things happen, you know. It is happening. It's very regular that it happens back home in the UK. I think what's really important now, especially for you guys' scene, is that you start to focus on drug testing kits. You know,
I think
because it's not a thing, really.
Or like in festivals, like drug testing. Yeah, we don't have that at all. We have a really like conservative government when it comes, or conservative policies when it comes to drugs. Because apparently, what I heard as well, that obviously people didn't know the festival was cancelled, so everyone sort of just kept going as they would, and then once they cancelled it, apparently all the drug buses just set up outside a pitch. Really? From what I heard, I don't know if you guys saw them on the way out.
We didn't see them. No. We didn't get hit with them. But I did hear about that because that's completely unheard of back home. You know,
drug buses.
You see these signs coming into Melbourne where it says drug driving. Yeah, you'd never see that at home. You'd never see it. It's quite normalised back home. You've got drug testing kits at every single festival. You've got places to go, and you want to test whatever you've got. Be safe. Yeah, it's the most important thing because when you're going to these festivals, man, like, it's inevitable. Everyone's going to be on drugs. Well, 90% of people. Yeah. And everyone's going to be partying hard. And it's going to be hot. And it's going to be this and the other. Just take care of each other. You know? Yeah. That's the most important thing.
I think that's one thing that I think we improve. Like, we're on the right track. But in terms of that, I mean, drugs are going to get taken, as you said, no matter what. It's inevitable. But I guess the way you sort of look at it is if you can take it as safely as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, limit the risk, even though it's always going to be risky. But yeah, that's one thing I think I heard. As soon as it got cancelled, everyone sort of, all the drug buses just set up.
Wow.
And there's usually only one ever road to get out of those festivals because it's in the middle of nowhere. So there's only just one road set up in the nearest town, and then there's just drug tests there. So
we must have just missed them, I reckon. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, potentially. Or they just didn't set up yet, but they did that on the way back from Beyond the Valley. That was like that, but we're really lucky because they already were full, so they can only take like 5 cars at a time. So if you're lucky enough and you go through, and you're not in that line, but it's
that's a pain in the ass, isn't it? I mean, it's like I think you need to start normalising it now. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit. Just understand that people are doing it, and it's okay that people are doing it. Because I saw on, I don't know, see you guys are premieres, don't you?
Yeah.
I saw one of your premieres put up something on Twitter, just like, you know, remembering the poor lad that passed away. And people in the comments were just like, just don't do drugs. I was like, what? How insensitive is that?
Yeah, that's not the point of the matter there, is there?
Not at all.
Like,
not at all. The point is fixing the problem.
Yeah,
you know? Not trying to sort out if the boy had the drugs in his system or not. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, what about all of the, I guess, good things about pitch? Because, yeah, the heat, I feel like even for Australia, that's hot. 40 degrees in the middle of nowhere with very limited shade, very limited supply of water. And the mist cannons, I mean, they were great, but they only could do so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the positives about pitch? Like, what did you really enjoy about it?
The stage production was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in my life, especially the RA stage. They had a massive ball.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was incredible. The sound was fantastic. The sound system was insane. And you know what? The facilities were great as well. Showers, and you know there was plenty of water for everyone. There was water filling stations and bags of ice if you wanted to buy them and everything. It was fine. It was grand. You know, like they really, really thought of as much as they could as a festival. And then like the sets were brilliant as well, to be fair. Yeah, Mac Declos blew my mind.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about him, eh?
Huh?
Oh yeah, you guys play the pitch? Yeah.
My highlighted pitch personally.
Because the kick-ons I saw the kick-on videos. Because after it got cancelled, obviously everyone still wants to go on.
Yeah,
I saw the kick-on videos. Everyone that on my Instagram, I was like, all the DJs that I knew were just playing secret sets. Even I think Sam Alpha played a random set, just at a random campsite.
It was mental. There was
300 people there.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Was your speaker even was your speaker good enough to reach that many people?
What happened was, so the festival it got cancelled. Everyone was kind of like on a downer. Everyone was like, "Oh, I wish we could party on this, that, and the other." And I remember turning to our pal Noah, and I was like, "I can hear music, right?" And I was like, "We go for a stroll. We see if we can find it." So we went for a walk, and I was walking around. And obviously, all I was finding was these people just kind of sitting around speakers, like hoping for the best. And ended up finding this geezer just playing to like 30 odd heads, right? And I was like, this is it. This is the one. We're going to come back here and we're going to jump on decks, right? So obviously I'm flying away myself, right? We'll go down and I'll get Gary and I get everyone. And I found a party. So I'll go down and I shit you not, me and Gary were on for 2 tracks and 30 people turned into 100 people and then it turned into 2 and 3 and then by the time I looked up it was just way back. And I was like, oh my God, this is mental. But it seemed like everyone enjoyed themselves, and we enjoyed ourselves. We had a great time. Yeah, so much fun, man. Yeah, so much fun.
Who are your other favorite sets? I heard I Hate Models was really good.
So I was struggling with the heat so much that I only saw like a limited amount of sets. But like going off him, I Hate Models was great, and there was Kasimba. Is that how you say? Yes. She was unbelievable. She was so good. That's how you do techno properly. Shout out to Crombie.
did he play the 7 a.m. or did that cancel that night? The 7 a.m. the all
night. It went a bit
earlier.
It went to like kind of like it was meant to be a sunrise set, but it only went to like the sunrise like half an hour later.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Kasimba and Mark Declos were my favourites. Yeah, for personally, out of the people that I saw. Let's touch on Gary for a minute, yeah? I want to just say something about Gez, okay?
So, oh no, is he exposing Gez?
So Gez, no, we're not going to cut this. Make sure he doesn't cut this, right? Gary had a bit too much fun during Chippy Non-Stop set, right? My man got so messed that he thought he was at the fucking Oscars. Right?
Wait, what?
He thought he was at the Oscars, right? And then he turned to me, he was like, I'm giving an award to Barry Keoghan. And I walked him. I looked at him, right, and he's there with a doof stick. He's like, it was the funniest thing I've seen in a while.
I do not recall.
No, he doesn't need to recall. It's alright. But I do have evidence. If anyone ever wants to see evidence, I've got a video evidence of him telling me that he's off his lips at the Oscars. So
it's so funny because the Oscars were like last week as well.
And then he goes, and then just randomly turned to me as well. He's like, why am I on a train in Tokyo?
Bro.
That's staying in. We're not cutting that. That's staying in.
Yeah, Gary just wasn't at pitch. He was somewhere else. The Oscars, and then he was in Tokyo somehow.
But that happened all during Chippy Non-Stop, and I feel like Chippy knew that we were all on a good level at that point. Yeah, so we were all kind of like everyone was happy, everyone was having fun. But then she started playing some scary stuff, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, Gary's definitely not mentally enjoying this. Like,
like what sort of stuff? Like,
God,
I don't remember. So I can't-
it was
like just like hard dark techno, or like
speak on one moment where I'm walking Gary out, and he just turns to me, and she's playing Darude Sandstorm. He just turns to me and goes, Darude, shit.
Gary was on one, wasn't he?
On Friday.
It was so funny, man. I was
It
like,
seemed like 6 cents and stuff.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Pitch was, pitch was great. Thinking back on it now, I think in the moment, like, because it was so hot, it was hard to really enjoy myself and be me. But after a while, it's just like, after you think back on it, you're like, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Fun. I think people in the moment were a bit heated by everything, and they were just like angry on social media, and I don't like this and I don't like that. But in reality, like, it was a sick festival.
Yeah,
it was just too hot.
Yeah, I went last year. Actually, that's how I discovered you. Last year at Pitch when Kedema played King of Rock.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, literally. I remember that song. I've still got that video on my phone. It lives rent free in my head. Like, literally, when he like mixed, I don't know what he mixed it in with, but he somehow mixed it in, and it was like just, he played it on the main stage, and it was just fucking heaving.
Oh,
and like, yeah, that's how I sort of came across you. I was like,
that's class.
Yeah, and then sort of, your sound developed, and then I just sort of shout out Kedema for putting me on Ben Prophet.
Shout out Evan, man. We love him. Evan.
I think I'm sure a lot of people sort of became fans of you from that song as well. Well, that's like your
that's the biggest
big hit,
one,
isn't it? Yeah.
Help the Stum as well. Help the Stum for being the person to really push it and give it to home when Happy Wax and stuff. It's like, it's mad. It's kind of given me like a new spectrum of my career after that. But yeah, it was crazy.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed Pitch. The limited festival that it was. Hopefully one day you guys can experience a full one.
Next year, maybe.
Yeah, because the Pitch Mondays is a bit of a... People don't... Like, I don't know. We went last year and we stayed the whole day. We stayed till Monday.
Yeah.
And we left on the Tuesday. And people were leaving on the Monday as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, Pitch Mondays wasn't as busy because they only have one stage open.
Okay.
And it goes till 7 p.m.
Okay.
But it would have been cool for you guys because you had DJ Boring closing.
Oh, yeah.
On Monday.
Wicked.
So that would have been really... I think he would have absolutely smashed it.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Love him.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and obviously the limited festival that it was, and the chaos that ensued.
Yeah, I know.
In it. But yeah, now you're back in Sydney.
Yep.
Were you in Melbourne before that? Did you land and go straight to Pitch?
Yeah, we landed and went straight to Pitch. We literally got picked up in the RV, so it was like staying in the RV as well was handy. But we got driven straight from Melbourne Airport down to, where did we stayed at a campsite? Aras, yeah, that's the one. So we stayed in Aras in a cool little campsite, and that was wicked. And then we just went straight to the festival. It's really, really good.
Yeah. And then you've been in Sydney since what, Monday or Tuesday?
Since when we came back, Monday. Yeah, I'm gonna say Monday.
And
we left on Sunday, I think.
No.
Was it Monday or Sunday? Monday morning we left. But yeah, we came back up and staying with Philippe, which is one of my tour agents, and lush time. Had a great time.
From Stolen Goods.
Yes.
Yeah, now you're kicking off your tour tonight at the basement.
Yes, man.
Your back-to-back tour.
It's gonna be good.
You excited?
Yeah, I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. Just like being back with Aussie crowds. It's as much as I love the crowds in the UK, you guys can party. Really? Yeah, you guys can party, and I like how you guys are like brand new to it. Really, like it's not like it's been around for fucking years like in the UK. With you guys, if you guys hear something new and fresh, you take it in. Yeah. Back home, sometimes you play something new or fresh. People are like, "Do I like this? Where's the kick drums?" And,
Yeah. That's good. Basement's a good. I mean, I've never been, but I've heard that place goes off.
Well, Mary's Underground. Or
Mary's Underground, the basement, like the crowd there as well.
Oh yeah.
And the crowd there loves it as well. So Mark Boy actually played there last week. No, the week before that, I think.
I'm interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, it should be good. And then you're do you prefer Melbourne or Sydney crowds? Who do you think gives you a better reception?
I think both hand in hand. I think you're both there for different reasons. I think Melbourne love the hard groove stuff, and I think that Sydney then prefer something a bit more west. Yeah, because you guys love ketamine. So
as Aussies or Sydney?
Sydney loves it. Yeah, which is not a bad thing because it means I can really send it and go a bit fucking weird, and yeah, that's the best part about it there. Like, it's just like, I love Sydney crowds though. You guys react. And I've played shows across this country, and like some places you play and like they don't really know how to react. They kind of just stay in their groups and chill out a bit. But yeah, Sydney, Melbourne, man, my two favorite places in the world, I think, at the moment. Yeah.
Where else are you playing? Are you playing in Perth?
No, we're playing Adelaide, and Geelong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would love to have got you on the podcast afterwards to see what differences there were from your first tour to this one. But what are you expecting anything different this time, or the same sort of reactions and crowds?
I think it's going to be a much more like seasoned crowd, because I think like last time when we were here, it was kind of like you guys were still coming into the scene. You know, it was still kind of fresh to you guys. So with even just a year difference, I can already sense that like when we were at pitch, some of the tracks I heard, like the reactions they were getting, like I mean, if I played that a year ago, it wouldn't have got the same reaction as when I play here now. But that might just be a personal thing, but like I've definitely noticed the change in you guys' like music sense.
Oh wow,
it's definitely matured, which is cool.
That's an interesting observation, because I haven't observed it at all. I mean, I have. It's sort of become more mainstream here. Like it's so much more mainstream here, like crazy. But yeah, it's an interesting observation from someone who is like isn't in the scene, I guess, in the Australian one. But why do you reckon that is? Why do you think we're sort of late? Obviously, you can only say so much, but
I wouldn't say you're late. I think it's more like because you've been so strict on like life before, you know, and like especially when COVID hit and things like that. It's kind of fresh, which is a good thing. It's fantastic, you know. Like you can come to you guys with new sounds, and it's for fresh ears. It's brilliant. So I think like for hard techno especially, like you guys are now coming into hard techno. You're loving hard techno, which is wicked. So yeah, it doesn't really make much sense to talk about it, because thinking about it in my head, like how do I explain it? But it's like I think it's just time and age, you know. I think it's just like maybe the crowds a year ago were listening to a specific genre of music. They loved hard groove, and now they want something a bit more experimental, which is what we like to hear, you know.
Yeah, I think last year was garage and hard groove was like taking over.
Oh, you guys love speed garage.
Yeah, speed garage. Yeah, garage and speed garage here is like crazy. Yeah. Everyone loves it here. But I think, sorry. Shout out Club Angel.
Shout out
for
Club
sure.
Angel.
He's killing it.
I agree.
He's like one of the front runners of the Australian garage scene.
Yeah, he's unreal.
But now it's hard techno randomly.
Yeah. Do you guys have hard techno like producers here, as many as we do at home? Because we've got heaps at home.
I'm trying to think. Actually, shout out to this duo Primitive. Yeah, they are fucking crazy. They're signed to 9x9 label.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, they got like direct support from them and stuff. So they're like coming up. But they used to be hard stuff. Like they used to do hard sound stuff, and now they've transitioned to like hard techno. Lestrange, who I've had on here, he does a bit of but yeah, hard techno scene in terms of producers, there's not many of them. No, not from what I know. A lot of it is like hard groove, garage sort of, speed garage. Yeah,
primarily international hard groove artists then, because I know you've got Teletech coming, don't you?
Yeah,
which is our boys.
Yeah, Teletech's coming down in April.
Good fun.
Yeah, that should be good. I'm not going. I might try and go, but
you should go, man. It'll be good fun. Yeah, it's gonna be carnage. Our boy Ollie is playing, and
Nick Marino.
Yeah,
and then
it's gonna be cool.
Kasimba's playing actually on that one.
Oh, is she? Oh, yeah. Amazing.
So that should be a good one.
I'm keen to see her again. You know, that was.
I've heard really good things, but like everyone that sees her play always has good things about her. Like she's a very good DJ.
Really cool. It was just so perfectly like groove. It's groove. It was spot on.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't like. Obviously, I was excited to see Schlar. And Schlar obviously pulled out because he was ill, but I think Simba kind of saved the day with her set. It was a very similar kind of vibe.
Yeah, well, shout out to Simba for putting on an absolute crazy set of pitch from what I've heard.
Oh yeah,
from what I'm hearing.
100%.
Let's get into Ben Prophet, because we've talked about Australia, we've talked about pitch, all that sort of stuff. Let's sort of get into your story and how you got into music and sort of what led you to where you are today. So, you grew up in where'd you grow up in Ireland?
Grew up in Cork. Ballincollig.
How far is that from Dublin?
So it's about 3 hours, I think. Yeah, it's about 3 hours on the train. So it's not too far. I mean, Cork is. They always say Cork is the capital, the real capital of Ireland. Mainly just because it's the biggest county. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love Cork, man. I love it. But I don't go back as much now as I used to when I was a kid, you know. But yeah, moved out of Cork into London, and then it began there.
Newcastle, and then Manchester next.
Yeah, man, we don't stop. Typical Irish fashion, traveling around the place.
How early on were you exposed to music, and then how early on were you exposed to like electronic and dance music?
Ooh, well, my mum was a raver when I was in her stomach, man. Like she kept going and going and going.
Oh, really?
Man. Yeah. So she kind of introduced me to the weirder side of things when I was young. So, for example, I was brought up listening to Massive Attack, Portishead, The Prodigy, things like that. You know, it definitely wasn't that 4/4 kick that I like love nowadays. You know, it was all this weird stuff. But it's definitely influenced my music massively. I think I just love anything that's out of the ordinary. I just love production, man. Production is just like God tier, bro. It's so good.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like your productions. You have so much like percussion, like so many drums. Like
Probably too many productions or too many percussions, man.
Yeah, well, that's like your sound's very recognizable. I think at this point as well, from what like I'm listening to, like I can tell it's like Ben Prophet track. Like it's like the drums, like the really heavy drums. Like he's like it's like really tribal drums at some points. But it's very good.
Excellent. Man.
And then you got introduced to it. You're basically listening to electronic music since you could
day dot, man.
Yeah,
since day dot. Literally, my mum used to just like play in the car, or like she'd be swinging me around the kitchen with like I remember Safri Duo by can't think of what's the artist called. Safri Duo. You know it. I let the ideas in the comments find it, but it's it's just all like trance stuff when I was younger as well. Like that was massive. And then I moved into grime. Then I just loved like weird sounds and just like anything dubsteppy and shit like that.
So like grime as in
like UK grime,
like Skepta and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like sort of like an influence in that sense, or his beats, I guess.
Yeah, his production, Wiley, I'd say would be a massive influence for me. Especially in his production, it was just incredible. Yeah, man, it's just like when I was younger, I remember it just kind of grew from one of my cousins, Anthony, shout out Anthony, he kind of gave me like a whole view into like dubstep and things like that when I was young, and he introduced me to Skrillex back in the day when he was making dubstep and so the stuff that he's making now, and Mala, don't know if you've heard of Mala Benga, Scream, all them.
Scream,
Scream.
I think I know. I've heard of Scream, yes.
So before Scream was making techos and stuff like that, I used to make like really dark, deep dubstep.
Interesting.
And that was the kind of stuff I kind of grew up on, and it's kind of all stemmed from that.
Did you start DJing first or producing first?
DJing first.
DJing first? Yeah. Do you remember when you first started DJing, or when you first got a pair of decks?
Well, when I first got a pair of decks, we were lucky enough because we sold a house in Ireland when we moved out to London, and my mum got me a pair of 2000 Nexus, a 900 Nexus mixer as well. Right, it was just like
the whole setup.
Straight in, yeah. So I had a nice setup, and I just kind of grew up. I grew up DJing though. I mean, it was always like whenever there was controllers at like little parties and stuff like that, I'd always wanted to like play with them and stuff. But production then I kind of mainly took serious when we hit lockdown. Once I hit lockdown, man, it was like get Ableton, get a new PC, head straight in the game, and it just kind of stemmed from there, man.
I feel like a lot of DJs, a lot of people you see now took that route during lockdown and like really honed in. Because I mean, what else do you do when you're in?
There was nothing to do.
Behind door,
there was nothing to do. You'd go for your daily walk, you'd come back, you'd make tunes. You know what I mean? Like that was it. That was the routine.
So you sort of started producing only during like as soon as lockdown started, or were you experimenting before that?
So when lockdown started, I was making techno. And what stemmed me to make techno was, I remember a while back, obviously I used to just like focus in on DJing bassline and grime and all that jazz and the UK underground scene. And it was my birthday in 2019, I'm going to say, maybe 2018, and AVA Festival, you know AVA Festival? So they do a yearly night as well in Printworks, well they had done before Printworks closed down, and then I was, we were looking for something to do, and we were looking at lineups and stuff, and then I saw a lineup with Joy Orbison, Ben UFO, and I was like, this looks serious, let's book this. So we went to that, and I remember listening to Joy Orbison play, and I was thinking to myself, my God, I love techno. Oh my God, this is the shit that I want to make, man. And it all just stemmed from there, man.
So that was the sort of, I guess, catalyst.
Joy Orbison was my catalyst. Definitely.
Joy Orbison, yes.
100%.
And that set was a catalyst at Printworks.
Oh my God. It still lives rent free in my head, man. Daily.
Yeah, well, I always want to know how sort of everyone got into it and what was like a turning point. And that was sort of like that set was your turning point.
100%. I think like listening to the way he mixed and like the production and like that weird sound, because I already loved that weird sound, he just mastered it. And listening to that on the system, it was just, yeah.
Yeah. Did you start making the tunes that you make now, or were you just making something a bit different back then?
So when I sat down over lockdown, I went in with the idea in my head that I wanted to make something a sound that was recognisable and that like people hadn't had before. And that's kind of why I went with the more mechanical sounding. Obviously, people that know production is like heavy echo, and it's just the way I push it in more of like it sounds industrial almost, yeah. And then when I focused on that, that's when I started to understand this is what I'm making, this is what I want to make, and this is the path I want to go down. But it did take a while, man. It takes a long time for producers to find their sound and focus in on that, because everyone wants to be unique, everyone wants to be different, but it's hard nowadays, man.
Did you experiment with any other genres, or were you locked into that?
No, I still experiment today, man.
Oh, you still experiment? But more like the sort of hard groovy or hard side, or do you do like anything that's like house, minimal, or even garage?
I wouldn't drop my BPM. That's because I love fast music. I've always loved fast music, and I think 140 to 145 is the core place to be. But yeah, I still experiment. I make like dubstep, ambient stuff, more like breakbeaty things if I want to, but it's important to experiment, man, because you can get stuck in this hole where you're making the same shit all the time. And I know I've got students, because I teach as well. I've got students that come to me and they're like, I want to change up my style, and they're showing me tracks they're making, and they all sound very similar, and like we push them in the right direction then, which is good.
So going off that, what's like your sort of tip for trying out different sounds and trying to sound different? Not trying to sound different, but more being able to experiment without having every track sound the same.
I think producers put themselves in a box and they go, right, my favorite producers are this person, and then they end up sounding like this person. So step out of your box and just play around with I'm in Ableton head myself, so like play around with everything that's inside an Ableton. Inside that audio effects rack, inside all that channels there, right? Oh my god, there's so many different sections that you want to check out. Like space, for example, space section inside an audio. Oh, yeah, that's like my go-to, man. It's unreal. And there's also a plugin called Thermal, and it really adds another layer to your production.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really, really, really cool saturator, and it like focuses on like bringing maybe density to sounds and like adding effects over like feedback and things like that, and it can really emphasize a different part of your sound that maybe you didn't even know existed. So I highly recommend people just jump out of your box and just fuck around with things and see what happens, because if you get stuck in the same loop of doing the same thing again, you'll just be bored and you lose your passion for music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it's important to sort of experiment with new things. What's your favorite genre to make outside of what you make? Like, what do you enjoy making but like you might not release?
Probably the more breakbeaty stuff. Love breakbeaty stuff at the moment. Like I've got a couple of tracks that I'm going to put out on False Persona. Have you ever heard of False Persona?
Is that a label?
It's very nice. An artist. He's
artist.
He's actually releasing on a very, very big label soon. I can't tell you who. I'll tell you after the podcast. But he's a fantastic boy. His name's Sean. But he has a label called Etched, and I've put together an EP for him, and it's very different to the stuff that you'd normally hear from me. You'd normally hear more club ready tracks. There's little club ready tracks in this EP, but it's more for home listening, which is cool. You're gonna get to hear some of the stuff that I make, that it's not like straight in the club, party time.
So you usually, like, obviously you make songs to go into a club. Why did you sort of choose to make this one more like home listening, like this EP coming up?
So I had one of the tracks was actually one of my sought after IDs from a few years back, and I remember posting it on my Instagram, and everyone was asking about it and wondering when it was coming out and stuff, and I actually had a label lined up for it, but that fell through. So when I thought to myself, I was like, I want this to not only be on like one of my friends' labels, but I wanted to show another level to my production, where like, yeah, you guys love the club stuff, but maybe you like this stuff as well. It'll be a nice change of pace just for this EP. I've got a big EP coming out before that.
Before it?
Before that, yeah. It's coming out, so the first track comes out at the end of this month.
For which EP?
So it's coming out on Happy Wax. So it's
this one that comes out, the big EP,
This new EP is coming out in Happy Wax, so it's gonna be It's going to be special.
Big
Looking
one.
forward to
Yeah.
you guys hearing this
When's
one.
the full EP out?
Full EP is going to come out in May.
May. Okay.
Yeah, so
when
you're
will
gonna
that be announced?
When will it be announced?
Just in
it'll
case I
probably-
need to cut this out.
Yeah. I think it'll be alright to post it. Like,
Yeah. This I think this episode is going to come out. What's the date today? Night. A month from now, so 16th of April.
Oh, you're fucking sound.
Oh yeah, no, you're
Middle
sound.
of
That's
April.
when the
First
second
of
release will be out. Then before after that, so that the first release comes out at the end of this month.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah. Make sure you listen to it.
It's there's a few tracks in there that you guys will hear on the tour, so I think you guys will like it.
Awesome.
It's,
Yeah. What sort of style or sort of what was
So
the creative
there's-
process behind that EP?
So we've got 4 tracks. We've got I Never Like Metal. We've got Talk to Me, which a lot of people have liked from Salome's Boiler Room. You know Salome?
Oh,
No, she's wicked arse. She played Pidge. Mm-hmm.
okay.
Excellent. Party Freak and Time Dance, which is another track that everyone's been after.
Okay.
So yeah, you've got very, very club ready tracks, very club ready tracks, and I wanted to make sure that it was all club ready because then you're going to appreciate the other one a little bit more then. But just in case they don't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the creative process behind the whole thing was that like I wanted to kind of follow on from King of Rock and like show people that maybe that that club sound that I can push is still very much active in me, and I can make melodic stuff as well, which is
Oh, a little melodic on the melodic side
there's
as
a
well.
very melodic track,
Okay,
which is Time Dance, and it's nice. It's very motive, very very well driven, and yeah, I hope you guys like it. I'm very proud of it. I'm very, very proud of it.
I'm sure it'll sound great. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So you want to sort of emulate that King of Rock sound, or more? What do you mean by you want to go off of the King of Rock like that song?
Obviously, with King of Rock, you guys created the hype. Yeah, so like obviously that I made that track in my bedroom, not thinking it was anything big. I remember sending it to Gary, and Gary really enjoyed it, and I was happy with it, but I wasn't at the point where I was like, this is going to be fucking massive, Only when Stum played it at Beyond the Valley, that's when I started to think, oh shit, this might actually be big. So I know you guys really like the club tracks, and especially in Australia, you guys love the mechanical sound as well. So I wanted to kind of make an EP where it's core my sound throughout the whole thing, and it's consistent. So through each track. So yeah, you've got a nice blend of tunes there. There's 3 extremely heavy ones, and then one that's more melodic, which is Time Dance. So it's a nice balance, I think.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, and then shout out to Gary here as well, who's also releasing on the label as well.
Oh wow! Shout out! Yeah.
Shout out Gary.
When's that releasing?
Like first single comes a month after this.
Yeah, so April.
On Happy Wax as well.
April. Yeah.
It's
That's-
like a
that's-
sub-label. It's like a sub-label of Happy Wax called Trade Tracks.
Yeah.
It's more for like kind of like harder, like raw, kind of like it's more mainly like kind of obviously hard grooves.
Yeah.
Is that Stum's label? Happy Wax? Is that his label?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's Stum's label. Yeah, it's going to be really cool actually. With speaking on that, Jack is doing obviously it'll be announced by the time this comes out because of Gary's release. But Gary's the first release on Train Tracks.
Oh wow!
Which is going to be a very, very special label for Jack. It's going to focus on more like hard groove stuff, which is going to be cool. So super buzzing for Jack. He's a great boy. We love Stum.
He's doing a lot now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. He's doing an Aussie
Doesn't
tour.
stop, man.
He's doing an Aussie tour in April, and then I think he's off to Europe.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
most
he is.
people are. I'm pretty sure everyone I follow is literally going to Europe. Like for
Oh,
music, everyone's going to Europe. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you boys are already there, so.
I mean, we love Europe, man. Europe is just like it's constantly bouncing, So there's like always something happening, which is sick. If you want to go for a night out, you can. I think here it's like, it's just coming into that scene. So you gotta wait for all those nights to be saturated and like coming through. And back home we have so many fucking nights on.
Oh,
at
tell
all
me about it.
times.
You guys, I'm on like RA looking at events for Europe, and I'm looking at London, and there's like 12 events on it in one night.
Yeah, no,
And I'm
exactly.
Like,
it's like a book of events.
yeah, literally.
It's unbelievable.
So now I'm keen to go there, but I'm like sport for choice. Whereas here, you're not really sport for choice. Like there's like 3 events, and it's like you go to one, you're not gonna go to the other. There, it's like 12 events. Like where do I go? Like
Yeah.
But there's so much selection there from what I've seen. You can literally hear everything in one night if you really.
Oh,
want to.
100%. Definitely,
Yeah.
especially in like places like Berlin. Like you
Oh,
won't
yeah.
stay in the same club for all night, so you can like travel around and go to different clubs.
But even like the artists that play, I'm pretty sure in June when I'm there in Amsterdam, for example, I think Chris Darcy and Bad Boombox are playing on the same day.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, now I've got a choice to make. Which one do I go to?
Go see both, man.
I mean, Chris Darcy playing a 10-hour set.
10-hour set.
Yeah. So I'm like,
my
I might go to
God.
that instead because that's going to be an absolute journey. So
That'll be amazing.
yeah, Europe's going to be exciting. I'm going there as just a holiday.
Well, you have to show us when we're there. We're that big old thing.
I'm going from the 9th of June to the 2nd of July.
Wicked. We'll
So I'm super keen for it. But yeah, I'm hopefully catch some Aussies down out there as well because I think they're out there at that time as well. I think actually Ollie Lishman's playing on that bad boombox. He's playing Intercell.
Was he? Oh, wicked.
Ned's over, Sam's over.
Yeah, Sam's over, Jack's over as well.
Six Cents are over.
Ned's
exciting.
Ned's over.
Everyone's over.
Very exciting though. It's good to see the Aussies get recognition over in Europe now.
Oh, they deserve it, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Like, especially Sam and like Ned and Six Sense and all the boys, Lucas as well. They're so talented, and I feel like here you can only do so much. You know, you can only tour as many times as you want. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't have as many cities as we do, so you're kind of playing the same places over and over again. People are going to get sick of seeing you. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But yeah, it's great to see the boys coming over. They deserve it. They deserve every single bit of recognition, especially Ned. It's the name one.
He's been killing it.
Ned is the boy.
Yeah, he's been. He sort of, I don't know. He sort of came out of nowhere because I remember I started this podcast. He literally had, I think, from memory, less than 1,000 followers, and now he's like the most sought after hard groove artist in like the whole of Australia. And I'm like, fucking hell,
He's
like,
unbelievable.
literally, not even a year's time, and he's just.
He just churns them out, man. Jesus Christ. Me and Gary were saying he like sends us playlists where it'll be like just December.
Just generating.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
it'll
10
just be like
fucking
10
unreal
tunes, and every single one is popping. Like, it makes no sense. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, shout out Ned Bennett. Shout out all the Aussies that are doing
Oh,
bits
yeah.
and going to Europe
Yeah.
because like that's very putting us on the map.
Yeah.
Even though we're so far away, which is the shit thing. I think Australia would be so much better if we weren't so far away from everyone.
Yeah.
That's the pull of it.
I think that's the pull of it, you know. I
that
like
we're
the
far
trip
away.
over. Yeah, I enjoy
Really?
the trip over because it's like you think to yourself, like, I'm going to the other side of the world to, you know, play the songs that we hear back home. So cool. It makes no
Yes,
sense. Until we hit China, we have to eat the weirdest food I've ever had in my entire life.
Is that when you stopped
we
over? You
had
stopped over in China? How long?
we stopped in Shanghai.
How long was that for?
That's like 8 hours.
Oh, you were there for 8
Yeah,
hours.
we flew over,
It was
man.
fine,
Like,
it was
we
fine, it
flew
was
over. We had a grand
The food,
thing.
yeah, the food.
We stopped off at this place that it looked like McDonald's,
Oh,
right?
really?
And it was like you sit down, and it was you know, we checked on the board, and it was like beef. Yeah, so there was a picture of it.
There's like a fast food. It's like fast food.
Show us the
Looks-
pic-
what-
I'll explain what each thing is, right? So
I'll get. I'll
we
put a
got-
photo up on the screen
yeah,
as well.
put a
So send me this
picture
photo
of the food.
afterwards.
So we basically got, it's like noodles. No, sorry, egg fried rice, cheese, and beef.
Yeah,
Right. That was the main dish. And that was lush. That was unreal. In the middle, then you've got a hash brown. That was like
Do you remember that?
in the middle. Say hello to the camera there as well.
No, oh, where's your video of the fucking?
We put that in the thing as well,
Oh,
right?
that was
But right, so in the middle of the picture, what you're seeing is a hash brown that had like a cheese
It was good,
flavor, and it was
wasn't it?
also potato, right? Top right, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Don't ask me, right? It's like that was some veg that was.
What is that soup on the bottom right?
Yeah, we
like some
don't
green
talk
soup.
about
Had,
that.
like, bones
It had
in
like actual bones in it, right? And I remember looking at Gary, and he was just like lifting bones up. I was
The
like,
worst thing is like the custard thing.
oh mate,
Oh.
right? You need to add a clip of this custard thing that I bought after this,
God.
right? It's that
YouTube-
yolk.
is YouTube-
But yeah, so we had a custard thing, right? And you put your spoon into it, and it would like just break off like fucking, like chunks of it, mate. It was like, you know what? I bet it's gorgeous, right? But it's stunning.
like-
But
it's
my
like a
Lord
delicacy
Almighty,
there.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't take a bite out of it.
What was like a Macca's? Or
No,
it was like a Macca's.
Think Macca's. Think Chinese Macca's, right? But obviously they've got Macca's in China. But like, think like their version of fast food.
Right.
So it was like, it was good. You know what? The main dish was unreal. It was so nice. It was definitely like, I like stepping out of my comfort zone when it comes to food, as you can tell.
Was that too far out of your comfort zone though?
Yeah. Yeah. There was definitely too far out of my comfort zone was on when we were on the plane. They brought out this tray, right? There was a breakfast, which was fine, right? The breakfast was grand. The sausage was a bit Oh, it wasn't a Denny's sausage back home. If there's any Irish listening, you know you love your Denny's sausages. They were the best. Clonakilty as well. But like this sausage was just grim, so I gave it to Gary. He'll eat anything. He's like a fucking Uber man.
So I've heard.
So we had that, and then there was like this porridge, right? So I remember opening the porridge, and I was like, oh, it's just liquid, right? So I was like, oh, Gary, I'll try this. You know, I'm not scared of it. And he was like, no, I'm not trying that, right? So I took a sip. It tasted fine. It tasted like sweet, right? Then I also put my spoon in, and I found these little bits at the bottom. Oh, Jesus Christ, mate. This poor Chinese woman next to me, right? I took one bite of the thing, right? I was like, oh. She was like, oh no, he's going to be sick.
You felt sick from her eating it?
Yeah. I took one bite of it, man. I thought it was finished. I thought it was like fucking, it was bad. Like, it was bad, but...
That's crazy, eh? You hear all the stories about like the food there, but
yeah, exactly. It's
That's fair enough. I mean, at least you tried it. You've tried it. Now you know it's not for you.
Yeah, I've tried it. No, I know it's not for me. But Chinese food, I love Chinese food, man. It's so good.
I mean, here in Australia we have a massive like Asian fusion. We have so many Asian restaurants here, and Asian food here is like just massive. Yeah, so especially in the city.
You guys take chicken seriously here as well.
Chicken?
Like we went to a chicken shop yesterday.
Oh, we love our chicken shop. Yeah, like chicken burgers.
Oh my god, mate! She bought like back home. You get like a chicken burger from a chicken shop. It's just frozen chicken burger, deep fried and fucking in a bun, right? Here, she pulls out a whole chicken, just cuts out a breast and just sticks it in the bun. She's like, there you go.
Like grilled chicken.
Oh my god, like actual full chicken, man. Like a full fucking chicken. I was like, I can't think of the name of it because it's in Sydney, but.
We have so many chicken restaurants here. It's like
so good.
Crazy, but chicken fast food shops. I love on a hangover meal on a Sunday morning. Chicken like go to a chicken shop, or like KFC.
Super good, man.
So good,
Super good.
That's awesome. But yeah, China was exciting. China was exciting. China was interesting. Yeah. Sort of deviated a bit from there.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the whole point of the podcast. We deviate. We go to different conversation, then we come back.
Yeah, I love that.
So we're sort of talking about like your sound, your music, sort of playing in the UK and playing around. Have you played much around Europe, or are you mainly just sort of?
I'm mainly just in the UK now at the moment. I'm really excited to play. I'm playing the Alps when I get back in Switzerland.
Like in the actual Alps?
In the actual Alps, yeah. So that's going to be wicked. So there's a brand thing in Newcastle Student Union Society or something like that, right? It's a ski society basically. So they've booked me for the Alps when I get back, and that's going to be wicked. It's going to be super, super cool. I'm excited for that because I can't fucking ski, right? So that's going to be terrifying. And it's just going to be a bunch of people that I know from Newcastle in the same place, so super excited for that.
Yeah, awesome. That should be fun. So is it going to be snowy there, or is it not going to be snowy?
Oh yeah,
it will be.
It'll be very cold and very snowy
at this time of the year, even.
Yeah, because it's way up in the mountains. You got to think of that.
True.
When you're up there, it's just freezing cold. So I've been told to bring as many layers as I possibly can.
Should be fun though. Playing in the snow always looks so fun.
Yeah. I've never done it before, so it'll be a first for me. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like.
It'll be fun, but maybe you get warm from like being up there.
Fingers crossed. Apparently, you can still get sunburnt. Apparently, because you're like
the sun's out there. Yeah,
sun reflects off the sun or the snow and then hits your face, and it's like even 10 times worse than like when it's snowing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like so. Factor 50. I've burned my back to bits when I'm being in Sydney, man. I went to Coogee Beach.
Yeah,
and I had the best, Irish, all Irish down there, man. It's great. But
you'll find a lot of Irish people in Sydney.
Yeah.
Especially in like the eastern suburbs, like Coogee. Like a lot of people that I work with are Irish, and a lot of them are eastern suburbs.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah, I love it down there, man. I lathered myself in fucking sunscreen, went into the water, forgot to put it on when I got out, and then I was like a tomato. So it wasn't great.
Yeah. How was obviously you run a club night there as well with District back in the UK.
With Ellie Suddick, yeah.
When did that start? It's like last year, isn't it?
No, it's very recent, man. We started that only about 3-4 months ago.
Right. Okay.
So we had our first night just before we came out here, and it's like a new adventure for me where I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing in like the terms of like putting on a night, but it's so exciting, man, because it's like you're trying to bring a party to a place where there's so many parties, it's a challenge.
Yeah, right.
So we're very grateful for the people that came through, especially Gary for playing as well. Gary went back to back with me, and we had Baxter and 666 CMG, two fantastic boys, absolutely love them. And we work with a brilliant team called Groovement, who are the people that own Groovy Discotheque, so they mentioned about the Tuesday night. And yeah, man, it's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be able to like focus in on, you know, the genre of music that I love, like hard groove and like more the harder techno and stuff like that, and bringing that to the city along with like Second Speed and people like that. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
You're very busy nowadays, aren't you?
It's definitely busy now. Yeah.
Because you
it's
obviously have your DJing and producing. You obviously teach as well.
Mhm.
You master as well, don't
I
you?
do.
And now you've got the club nights. Is there anything else that you sort of keep your hands busy?
Jeez, I don't think I've got any more time in my day, to be honest. But it's yeah, I love the teaching, man. The teaching is like one of the most rewarding things I think I've ever done in my life. Like Gary teaches as well, and it's just like he'll say the exact same thing where we watch our students come in and like some of them will have no experience whatsoever. Shout out to Jace, for example, one of my boys. He's coming to me for 2 lessons a week now for about a year, and it's just been like seeing him progress from like no knowledge of Ableton to now getting signed has been like an incredible journey for me and him. And same for this guy called Matthew as well. It's just been I'm so proud of them, man. You know, it's just so beautiful to watch like someone grow from literally nothing to being like top of their class and being like, yeah, I'm gonna release on this label and this label and this label, and you know, the confidence as well in this growing so much. So yeah, I'm very proud of my students. Very proud of them.
That's exciting. It's very good as well. What sort of music do you like? I guess teach. Like when they make the music, is it sort of anything? Or so even if they will make house music or minimal, you still.
It doesn't matter. I've got about 3 tech house students, and I don't listen to tech house, but I know exactly what it needs to sound like. So they come to me quite often now with track ideas that they have, and we kind of push them on the right direction, you know. But I teach everything from beginners to, you know, expert level to like I teach mixing down and things like that, and like the more the technical side of things where people maybe get lost a little bit, where they're like, okay, like I know how to make music, but what's next, you know? So yeah, it's really, really good, man. What
sort of made you want to start like teaching? Because obviously, as I said, you've only been producing since 18, 19. What made you sort of want to also start producing? Teaching. Yes.
So it was more the fact that like I had the knowledge and I wanted to make music my full-time job. And I was thinking to myself, how can I do that? And with my knowledge, I wanted to share it. So I just trial run it for a week, and I was just like, you know what, let's see if people actually want to do this. So I remember doing the trial for a week. It was a busy week. And after that, then I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm not a bad teacher. I feel like I'm confident with getting my words out for them, and like they understand what I'm saying and things like that. So it kind of just naturally flew from there. And then I was like, you know, I'm going to bring on more students, and it's got a bit hectic, but I'm enjoying it, man.
How much of your time does that take up in a day?
Ooh,
it's like a full-time, like a 9 to 5
it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job, yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends how many students come on for the week. I usually try and give myself a nice bit of time during the week as well for my own production or my own time, you know, to chill out. So I'm doing about, you know, 10-15 students a week. Whether that be 1 or 2 hours a week for them, but yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah, it's good. I think that's a good way to sort of make money on the side, because obviously everyone knows music isn't a high paying job. No, it's not.
No, it's not. But you know what? You got to take it on the chin where like you're not going to make lots of money straight away, and it's not going to become your first full-time job, and it's not easy. And it's, you know, there's a lot of things that come with it that aren't, you know, people think, I feel like people go into the music industry thinking it's all glamorous and that it's, you know, you're a superstar and you get treated like a superstar, but in reality, man, it's hard work. It's extremely hard work, and it's hard on your mental as well, man. It's extremely hard.
Imagine, yeah, especially with all the stuff that you've got going on. It's not just music and producing. You've got the club night now. Yeah, the teaching the students. It's like.
Yeah, it's a gig. It's a full-time gig, man. It's a full-time gig. I think with production, with producers in general, I think they create a stigma for themselves where they are forced, well, not forced, but like they're expected to make music at the level that you're, you know, say for example, King of Rock, right? Now I'm expected to make something at the same level, if not bigger, you know? And I feel like that can then cause producers to sit there and be like, fuck, like, this is a lot of pressure. You know, this is a lot of pressure for me to have to follow on from. But, you know, take your time. Don't put pressure on yourself. If you need a break, take it. Because, Jesus, I think producers don't give themselves enough breaks. at all. I think it's just constantly like work, produce. And I was lucky enough to be able to give myself a break then from September to now. I've made a couple of tracks in that time period, but I really wanted to kind of draw myself back a little bit and focus on, up here a little bit, sure, and make sure you're okay first before you start going into something again. So did that, and honestly, mate, best thing I ever did. I will coming back to it now. When I get back home, I'm straight back into the studio, and I already feel like rejuvenated and excited.
So you took that break from September last year till about what, like just March now?
Yeah, I'm still doing shows. Yeah. I was just taking a strip back from my own production and things like that, and it genuinely makes you come back with a clear head. Makes you come back with like new ears as well, because you're kind of making the same shit all the time and things like that. But might not work for everyone, but it definitely worked for me, 100%.
No, I think it's important to take breaks. I think even like you hear some producers or DJs that are just going crazy like every single week and they're going to shows. And obviously people that can do that, go for it. But I think as humans we need breaks. Eventually catches up. Yeah.
Look after you for a bit, man.
Yeah, 100%. Was it more of a case of like burnout or just burnout?
Definitely burnout, 100%.
Do you think you took on a bit more than you could?
100%. Yeah. I bit off more than I could chew in terms of like the lessons and stuff, and like I think coming back now, I've got a much clearer head, and I know exactly like my time management has just upgraded. It's like I know exactly when I want things to be happening and stuff, and it's a lot more patient with myself now. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm more patient with myself, where I'm like, okay, Ben, you need to take time for yourself here, and you need to chill out here, and you need to work on music here, and it's good. Time management's so important. So important. Gary's got a whiteboard in his room, and I'm going to invest in a whiteboard when I go.
I need to invest in a whiteboard as well.
Shout out Nicola, who bought me.
Yeah, shout out to his girlfriend as well. She's a star, Nicola. She's great.
Yeah, I need to get a whiteboard, because the other times I'm like thinking I need to get this done. It just get everything on the thing, on visually.
Definitely.
Because sometimes, like, I don't know if you experience it, but when you go to bed, your thoughts just go crazy, and you think about everything. You start panicking about everything. Like you didn't send out that email, or you didn't edit this video, or you've got that coming up and you haven't prepared for it. Whereas if you get it on like a whiteboard or get it on paper, you can see it, and that way you're not stressed about it at all.
Even just writing things down, man.
If there's a start, you like write it down, you're like 80% more likely to actually do it.
100%. Yeah, even just writing things down, you just like add the little tick emoji. If you could do something, just to add the tick emoji, and then you make yourself feel good about that as well, because then you're like, okay, I've accomplished that, I've done that. On to the next thing.
Yeah, like little wins.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, I think that's important to like take breaks. I think it's a good point to touch on, because like, as I said, I've seen so many producers that are just going crazy, and again, if you can do it, go for it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Especially people that do it full time.
Yeah.
100. I'd recommend that so heavy. Like whether it's a holiday, whether it's taking yourself away from music for a little bit, it's important. Just focus on you. That's our careers are the most important things in our lives. Like we're very well driven people, a lot of us, but it's important to take a step back.
100%. Do you reckon the reason that most producers and like artists don't take breaks is because sort of your output correlates, it directly influences your like income? So people feel the need that if they don't work, they're not making money.
Yeah,
especially
it can be. Definitely can be. I mean, especially people that, like, as I said, work full time in the music industry. They have to make music. You have to make music. You have to be constantly releasing music, and not only for your income, but also for your, to be relevant. And I feel like relevance is such a massive thing in the industry, where if you're not releasing music, your views are going to drop off, and that's just natural. Yeah, that's going to happen. But it's okay for that to happen. And I think people forget about that as well. That's okay. You don't need to be hitting 100K every week. It's okay. But it's, I think people just need to focus on what makes them happy. If they want to produce. If they don't want to produce, you don't have to. It's okay, Go into it with a clear head, always.
What did you sort of do during that break that gave you a sort of a clear mindset going back into it now?
Teaching.
Oh wow.
Teaching. I really took on teaching as like a full-time job, and I did so much teaching that I started to forget that I was even like doing Ableton myself. Like I started teaching so many people that it was getting a bit too hectic. But you know what? Like after that, after teaching so many heads and like being, you know, a mentor for people, it's really taught me to, you know, be a mentor for yourself as well. You know, take care of you. And once that clicked, honestly, like I think it only clicked when I was coming over here, and once it clicked, then it's really sat with me, and I've been like, okay, I'm ready for a clear head and going back, and I'm going to be much more like managerial in my time and figuring out exactly where I want people, and really important, man, really important.
That's good. Yeah, sort of used other people's motivation to sort of fuel your own, in a sense.
Definitely, I've got amazing students. I've got amazing students that are very like creative and they're very well driven, and some of them are riddled with ADHD, and I love that. And they'll just like, you know, if they don't like something, they'll say it, and they'll be like, Ben, I want to do this, and I want to do the big aspirations, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's what I want to hear, and that feeds into you. You know, it's just like when you're DJing, man. You DJ, you feed off energy on the crowd, and then you give the energy back. You know, it's the same as students.
Yeah.
You know, if they're excited, if they're enjoying it, you're enjoying it as well.
100%. Yeah, it's actually very good that you sort of where we take a step back, because a lot of people can't recognize the fact that they need to take a step back. Did you? What made you recognize the fact that you need to go back a bit? Was it like a moment, or was it a build up of events that sort of made you sort of switch? Or
it was a hard time when I came back from Australia, and it was just like, I think when I got back, it was like I wanted to focus on what made me happy and why I started doing music in the first place. And I think it just took me a while to get back into the drive of like, okay, this is why I started doing it. This is what I love. This is my whole life. Because I was terrible in school. Like, I kicked out of school when I was a kid, and it was just like, it was such a strong drive in my whole life, music. So I think after that, after a specific event that happened after Australia, it was just, let's focus on me for a bit. And honestly, best thing I ever did, man.
Yeah, right.
Best thing I ever did. And it makes me really happy to know that I've come from that to now, and much healthier and happier person now.
Yeah, well, I'm very glad that you're much healthier and happier. Yeah, I can see it as well. You got a lot of energy.
Yeah, true.
Way excited for this tour as well.
Oh mate, this tour, I think, especially because I've got Gary by my side as well. Like, that's my boy. So it's just like fucking doing that all together and having the experience and the memories and everything like that. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's awesome. Well, that's been very insightful. All those conversations. I think mental health is something that you wanted to touch on, and I think it's important to touch on as well. I feel like I haven't touched on it enough in this podcast with a lot of my guests, because it's a bit of a, I wouldn't say taboo, but it's a very closed off subject.
Oh, 100%, definitely.
A lot of people aren't.
It's getting better now, though.
It's getting a lot better now, I think.
Like, as a man, like, talk about your feelings.
Just gonna say that, yeah.
100%.
So males in the industry, man, like, it's okay to talk about your feelings. You know, it's okay to be vulnerable sometimes, because I think people forget that we're men. We're supposed to be hard arses.
Yeah, macho and stuff like that.
Macho, yeah. But it's okay to let your walls down a little bit and talk about, you know, the softer side of things. Which is good.
Yeah, well, you come back stronger anyway.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I've ever been this happy in my life. Like, we're back in action.
Well, I'm glad. I'm so happy about that. I'm happy for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So obviously now you're ready, locked and loaded for this tour.
Loaded, ready to rock. It's gonna be good, man.
What are you most excited about being in Australia? Back in Australia now. Like, what are you most excited about?
You know what? Just like being amongst it. Like, being in the crowd as well, watching the support acts. I'm one of those people, like, I don't like this whole sit backstage and fucking, you know, drink a writer and chill out. I like to be amongst everyone, watching the sports and like just seeing everyone and like what they have to offer, man. Because that's how you find new artists, especially producers, man. Like, I remember I played Adelaide last time, and there was a guy who was like, he was on first, and he was like, oh, Ben, can I show you a track? And I was like, yeah. And he played it to me, and I was like, fucking, oh, it was unreal. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but that guy, I can't think of his name. Send me a message if you see this. But he was wicked, bro. So good. But that's how you meet. That's how you find new artists. You know, it's so important to delve into the scene a bit. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. I'm most excited to see more artists
in Australia, like Australian artists.
Yeah.
Is anyone in Australia that you sort of look out for, like a one to watch?
One to watch
from Australia.
It's hard because actually, you know what? There's one boy I want to shout out, and his name is PJ, and Sad Boy as well. Sad Boy, those lads are fucking unreal.
Is PJ Oscar? Is that his name?
Possibly.
PJ, I think I had him on the podcast really early on. Like,
did you?
Started last year. Is it the right PJ?
Yeah, it must be. I think so. Yeah, because he sent me an edit of Fontaine's DC,
Right.
which is one of my favorite tracks as well. It was so out of the blue that he messaged me and sent it over to me. But I remember listening to it and I was like, "This is ridiculous." But that's going to be a set staple for the tour, definitely.
Oh wow,
At
okay.
the moment. It's so good. And Sad Boy as well. They came to me for they're playing with us in Nectar in Melbourne. They came to me for a lesson and they showed me a track called Hung Up, which came out on the Transition. Yeah, and out the Transition as well, fantastic label. Those are pushing Australian artists hard, and I love.
Oh, Transition, yes.
Fantastic label, brilliant label. But yeah, they released that on the label, and I remember them coming to me and saying like, "Oh, what do you think of this?" And I was like, "This is unreal, lads! It's so good." But yeah, I think those two boys, three lads, Sad Boy is a duo, but those are kind of my favourites at the moment. Obviously, you've got your top heads. They don't need more shout outs.
I was going to say, I was like, who's not part of that group?
Yeah,
That you sort of look out for?
we see them all the time. But other than that, it's just those up and comers, man. There's so many to name, and I could be here all day. But those are my favourites.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's the right PJ that I'm thinking of as well.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think
it's only one PJ.
He's got like a picture of like cartoon.
Yeah. Oscar, he's very talented.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal talented.
Yeah, I think he actually released EP recently, and Ed Bennett jumped on a remix with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For like one of his tracks.
Oh, wicked. Walters as well.
Pardon?
Walters?
Oh, Walters, yeah.
Walters coming up as well.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah,
So
Walters
good.
is crazy. I
Such a
saw his set at Beyond the Valley.
Oh yes, he played Beyond the Valley. Didn't he?
Insane. It's probably one of the funnest sets I've experienced in terms of like the music that he chose, like his song selection, his mixing. Like it was a very fun set. And like we were meant to see Effie on the main stage, and we literally missed half her set because we're not leaving Walters. So we're like stuck in between two minds. And so
Do you know what else is those? Only With You.
Yes.
Only With You's energy on stage is the maddest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a boy bounce around so much in my entire
Especially with his long hair as
If
well,
they
he just
played
goes
for-
everywhere.
Day before Patrick Mason, that would have been fucking.
Oh, they should have gone back to back, man. Patrick Mason back to back Only With You. That would be funny as fuck. I'd love that. That'd be great.
Yeah, Brent Honey as well. Have you seen Brent Honey?
No, I don't think.
No, he's very much like, again, his stage presence is crazy as well.
Oh, really?
Like he jumps more than the crowd.
Shout out Only With You though.
Oh yeah, sure,
The
mate.
best video of all time.
Oh, what when he was outside? Only With You when
Is
he
that
was
the one
outside.
with the DJ heartstring?
This is Julian. So funny because you spoke about that in your podcast as well. It's so funny.
That's just my head referee.
You posted it like for your tour announcement, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was on Instagram.
He's such a bio though. I love him. He's so funny. His energy is just unreal, man. I don't know how we've got so much energy on stage. I mean, I do, but it's just like
get
nowhere
tired.
near that. Do I get tired?
No, you would get tired.
Oh no,
Like,
I get tired. Like, so I can imagine he gets tired. He's bouncing around. He's doing cardio on stage. Like, you know what I mean?
he's got to get that fitness in.
I'd like to see a Patrick Mason dance off against Only With You. I think it'd be great. One on either CDJ.
What do they have in Europe? They have the face-offs.
Yeah.
Like they're not back to back, something
like
else.
face to
Face to
face.
face.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That would be a crazy face to face
Can
if
you
those two came
imagine
onto
that?
one.
Jesus Christ. Be mental.
You wouldn't even you wouldn't care about the music. You just care about who's dancing.
No, exactly.
Who are some artists in the UK?
Oh, there's so many. Well, I'm gonna shout out a few of my favorites. So Jace, who was one of my students, he is absolutely incredible. So is Matthew, one of my students. So is Libby, one of my students. There's just to name a few. There's so many. I'd be here all day. It's just like, yeah. I mean, coming up in the scene in the UK, it's just like you're so saturated with like different artists. And there's so many things happening constantly that like I feel like we don't take a minute to like look deep into like, you know, the smaller heads, because you get sent so much shit. You get sent so many tunes, and like it's hard to differentiate like who's going to stand out and who's not. And I mean, I'll shout out to everyone that sends me music, because I get so much music sent to me weekly, and I mean, majority is just incredible, and it's just like it's class because you get to see the next wave, you know,
Before it happens.
exactly, you know. So it's like it's unbelievable. I mean, me and Gary coming up in the scene at the moment is like, it's like who's next? Who's next? Who's next to come over to Australia and see, you know, this beautiful country that you have, and it's just Oh, it's wicked, man. It's
Yeah.
so good. I love it. I'm trying to think of more heads off. Like oh yeah, there you go. That's perfect. In Effect.
Is that a duo or one person?
So
One
In
person?
Effect is part of it's like Trick Ben Hemsley easily.
Oh, okay,
all that
okay.
jazz. So you have that. Carl Starkey, another person that's popping off at the moment. He's unbelievable. Baxter 666 CMG.
Yeah, Baxter's a great one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's
There's
so many heads, you know. Like I could sit here all day and be like, oh, this person. I love.
Name a five-a-side team of your upcoming
Oh,
artists.
Jesus Christ, can you imagine?
Give me a five-a-side team of upcoming artists.
God.
He was fucking cheerleader.
Sorry?
Only with you as a cheerleader. Yeah. Having Jordan Baldwin as my front and center, man. He's Ben Hemsley's tour agent.
Oh, really?
He's a boyo, man. He's unreal. He's so funny. Out to him as well. He's some boyo. And Ben, of course. Shout out to Ben Hemsley. He's
He's not up and coming.
well, not up and coming, obviously, but honestly, what like gave me such a boost in my career, and I can't thank him enough. He's just been so supportive and high, and Daniel Avery, obviously again not up and coming, but gave me such boosts in my career. So shout out to them. They're just some amazing heads in the scene, man. And I think people don't realize that like supporting each other is so important. You know, like you forget that like you wouldn't be where you are without this person. You know. And I think some people egos come into play a lot, and which is sad. You know, you don't need egos. You need to be helping, supporting, pushing each other, and like you know, if someone dips off, you gotta check in.
Yeah, 100%.
You good? Yeah. But yeah, same with Gary. Gary's been fucking amazing. He's been flying, and shout out to Gary as well because he's just like. He's just non-stop pumping out bangers. And I mean, we've got this thing at home where we'll produce tune, and before we even upload the SoundCloud, before it even hits the private links, man, we're like FaceTime each other like,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
what do you think of this? What do you think of this track? And we'll sit there and we'll listen and give each other some feedback. But yeah, it's so important, man.
I feel like you need that. And the egos and stuff, I feel like they just can actually just get fleshed out. Like they'll just sort of
Eventually.
get. Yeah. Like it's not sustainable to have a big ego.
No,
So
it's not sustainable.
yeah, it's not sustainable to have a big ego, and I think support's important. But you see that a lot. I think it's also very good to have someone like your relationship, and sort of have that sort of close contact that you can go to
Definitely.
for music, even like when you record, when you make anything, when you produce anything. So it's very good. Well, it's been a very insightful chat with you. Obviously, I appreciate you coming on. You've got a hectic schedule.
It's been mental.
Yeah, it's been hectic. So obviously, I appreciate you coming on, making time to speak to me and speak to the audience, obviously, and hopefully they get something out of this. I'm sure they will. But you're kicking off your tour tonight,
We are.
and then on for a massive one and starting. Then you're on a break, aren't you, for the week, and then you're back in Melbourne next week.
I remember Melbourne next week.
Melbourne
Yes.
next week.
So you got this Saturday and then next week.
Oh, we have to fucking written next year, and then we have to go straight to Blue.
Yeah, we're doing Nectar next weekend and then straight to Blue Mountain. It's our first time doing 2 shows in one night, so it's going to be interesting to see how
Straight
we...
after have to hop in a car, drive an hour, and then just, as soon as you arrive, play.
That's the life. That's the lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be carnage.
Fucking
It's going to be
tired,
sick. It's going to be cool. I'm really excited.
It'd be
about
so like intense, like finishing off the set and just jumping in the car
it. Yeah.
and then just bang straight to another one.
It's
Mental.
pretty
It's
fucking
gonna be
fun, though. It's
fucking crazy.
Yeah. Have you done it before? Or is that the first time?
No, that's
First time.
Our first time doing that, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how we can hack it. You know, like by the time we get to Bloom, I think we're gonna smash it. But we'll be
Wait, you get Bloom's in
fucking
Geelong,
what
isn't
terms?
it?
Yeah.
Bloom's in Geelong.
Geelong,
isn't it?
yeah. It's only
so
an
you're from
hour
Melbourne to
hour
Geelong.
drive. Yeah, it's nothing.
Like an hour.
It's grand.
Hopefully you can sort of recover in the car.
Yeah.
No, no, we'll be partying on. We'll be partying. We'll be partying on. I'm looking forward to it. I think Geelong's crowd is so open to hearing like the weirder shit as well. That like last time I played there, I remember playing like weird stuff, and they were just like, "Yeah, this is fucking class." And like,
Okay.
it's cool. Yeah,
That should be
love it.
fun. Well, yeah. Obviously, good luck for your tour.
Thank you, man.
Hopefully you guys smash it. I'm sure you guys will. Back to back as well. So yeah, obviously thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. It always helps out the podcast. Make sure to check out Ben and his forthcoming EP, which will probably be out by the time this is out. So I'll leave a link to that description. And then also check out Gaz's EP when that comes out. But yeah, take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.